Good morning!
Yeehaw!
It's Tuesday, July 8th. I'm Boston has entered the chat live inside the Salem 5 studio.
Yeah.
I was going with a little like Robin Williams. Good morning, Vietnam.
I love that.
You went Travis Thomas.
Why not?
Out west of Montana, whipping lassos, getting cattle, and waking up and bringing what you guys are talking about in your chats. Of course, we're here in Boston, though.
That's what we do, man.
I can do a Western accent. I'm not going to do the floozy, like fake, fugazi Boston accent, though. No one needs that in the morning. If you got it, I love them.
Listen, man.
It's like the TikTokers that like force them.
I'm not going to lie.
It's the people that like yuck it up. Like, I'm good.
I have a hard time keeping up with all the voices in my head. So I can give it to you however you want. Limit the
accents.
I can give it to you however you want. It doesn't. I'm Baskin Robbins. I have every flavor. Whatever you need.
Hey, if you got the Boston accent, we love it here on the show. Leave us a voicemail. Flexing that accent, 617-790-0928. Send us an email to chat@nesson.com or tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat. This show, we always bring what you guys are talking about in your group chats all throughout the program. We'll start with Joe Mazzulla, his job security. Hear a little bit from Roman Anthony after his first career home run at home at Fenway later on in the show. And we'll get to the voicemails as well. First, let's start with Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics.
All right.
Job security to me seems pretty comfy for Joe Mazzulla. No Jason Tatum this upcoming season. The team's all about getting under the second apron instead of contending for championships. Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Luke Cornett with other teams. It's all about Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard for now.
Okay.
What do you view, if you go scale of 1 to 10, Joe Mazzulla's job security this season? How dependent is he on success to keep his job long-term in Boston?
Well, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most secure, I would probably say a 4 or 5. I would say it's middle of the pack. And the reason why I say that is because they're not coming off a championship run, and they're also coming off a run where he was exposed in the playoffs. He was outcoached by a New York Knicks head coach who didn't even keep his job, for God's sakes. So I don't think Mazzulla has some job security here. Remember, this wasn't a hand-picked choice. I know no one likes to talk about this, and I get it. But in the end, the head coach who was here was a real head coach, okay? I think he's doing pretty good out west, is he not?
In Houston, he's enjoying
Now,
it.
there was scandal, and I get it, and you got to get rid of him. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not defending the guy. But Joe Mazzulla was like, you're up, right? Okay, cool. He won a title. Respect. But I think you and I could have coached that team to a damn title. So in the end, when he had to pull out the whiteboard, draw up plays, you go here, you do that, you do this, manage the clock, situational basketball. He flubbed it up. And it's a family program, but you know how I feel, okay?
Different word than flub.
Thank you.
Still starts with an F.
Thank you.
Ends with a K?
Just for clarity.
Cool.
So listen, let's be honest. If this team wins 30 games next year, he's fired. And I don't have a problem with that. I'm expecting it because I don't think he's a great head coach. I think he's still learning on the job. No shame with that. But like, bro, it's on you now. It's on you. You don't have all these superstars. Your top guy's hurt. Jaylen Brown, as much as we all love him, I think we can all admit this. And maybe it's a hot take. I don't think it is. He strikes me, at least, as a kind of guy who, if things are going south, he can check out on you mentally. That happens all the time with NBA superstars. Jaylen Brown gets unhappy. We're losing games. I'm putting up 30 for nothing. He could go south on you.
But that's a guy that battled through a knee injury all last season. Now he's for a good cause, going to be a contender.
That's different. That's toughness.
But that's also mental toughness to battle through that injury, too.
Maybe.
That is.
Hey. There's a world in which this guy could put up MVP numbers and you win 30 games. This isn't about Jaylen Brown.
And that's true, too. The lack of depth is scary with this team.
This is on a coach. How many times have we looked at teams and said, that's the best job this coach has done because he had less to deal with? A Mike Tomlin in the NFL comes to mind. The Steelers last year were a mess, and they still had a winning record. That was really probably the best job Mike Tomlin's done. Nick Saban won with some down years in Alabama, and you thought he doesn't have all these superstars, and they are still making a college football playoff. That's a great coaching job. That's a coach's job sometimes, is to enhance what you don't have, okay? I don't think Joe Mazzulla is at that level yet, and I think he'll be exposed for an entire season. If they win 30 games, he is fired. And you know what else? The Celtics are not the Knicks, meaning they can go out and get a Mike Malone who's still available. They can go out and get a big name, marquee box office head coach name who's out there in the ether, unlike the Knicks that couldn't get that done. I think the Celtics can get that done. I think Brad Stevens can get that done for this team. So I look at it now. Here's another thing I would put sort of in my back pocket is you probably have the greatest interim head coach of all time on your bench right now in Sam Cassell.
Yes.
Right now. Sam Cassell should have been a head coach in this league 5 years ago.
And I think the fact you say should have, I think says a lot of why he's not. I think if he wanted that type of role, he would get it. To be a head coach.
Maybe.
That's a different beast when you take that on because
Maybe.
you're the face of the city. You're the face of the team. You got to answer every question before and after games. That's a different atmosphere to get into.
Okay, let me take it a step further then, because I'm not being clear. I would feel more comfortable with Sam Cassell, head coach of this team this season, than I do Joe Mazzulla. That's as clear as it gets.
Look, there's the boxes to check that Joe Mazzulla has to meet this season. It's wins, it's making the playoffs, it's having a team out there that's respectable, we're playing good basketball. To your point, though, you bring up a whiteboard, it's showing he can learn as the game goes on.
Yes.
Because we saw him the last time he was on an NBA floor, NBA bench, standing in front of one, get out-coached by Tom Thibodeau, who doesn't have a job anymore. Get out-coached. His team get outplayed and him get out-coached. And that is before Jason Tatum went down with the torn Achilles. They were going to lose that game before he tore it. They were about to be down 9 in crunch time. And the way that game was swinging, there was going to be no relevance, no rest at all from what the Knicks were bringing them at all. This is a prove a year for Joe. I put this as, with Jason Tatum going down, everyone on the Celtics, it's their time to show they actually are worthy of it. That's on Joe Mazzulla. That's on Brad Stevens. It's easy to build teams when your predecessor drafted Jason Tatum, drafted Jaylen Brown. And it's easy to build teams when you could swing a trade, but then just pay Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis a boatload. Swing a trade, get Derek White, and then trade him a boatload. Now it's the real stuff. It's the second apron. What can Brad Stevens do? And how can Joe Mazzulla coach without the perfect structure around his 2 top 20 elite wings in the NBA? You're without Jason Tatum, who's a top 5 player in the league when he's at the peak of his powers. And this is all on Jaylen Brown. Now it's him and Derek White. Okay, Joe, looking at you. Now it's your time to prove it. There's a lot. It's wins. It's getting to the playoffs, which they should, because also, mind you, they don't have an out of it's a tough conference. The East is weak.
Yes.
The East is a cakewalk. They need to make the postseason. They need to win, though. And it's showing a growth in basketball. This is not a wash year. Because as much as I am on the Damian Lillard train, because it checks out with the Jason Tatum timeline. So, yes, I am looking beyond 2025. You hold the Boston Celtics to higher standards than punt on a season, it's all good. You expect them to be competitive and contending year in, year out. Yes, Jason Tatum went down, but Jaylen Brown, he's really good. Derek White, that's a top 40 player. So many teams across this league would want on their roster. You have the 6th man of the year in Peyton Pritchard. That's why I look at Brad Stevens. Okay, you figured out how to maneuver some money and get the big contracts off the books. You still got to put an NBA team out there. You can't have Luka Garza starting at the 5. You can't have Nima Shiketa playing 20 minutes a game. You need to put an actual team out there.
What's the identity? Because think about this. I brought up Ime, right? That was a defensive team, okay? He leaves. Mazzulla comes in. Great. Mazzulla's identity, you live and die by the 3, okay? Subsequently, we saw the team live. We were winning banners. Then we saw the team die by the 3 last season, right? So think about this now. You have to know your personnel. This team, currently constructed, and we think there's more moves to come, but right now, this team can't go out there and chuck threes like they used to. So what's the identity? That's part of the issue. A head coach, that's half of the job. What are we? What's our plan? What are we doing? What's our identity? We're going to find out this season exactly what Joe Mazzulla's identity is as a head coach. If it works, job security to a 10. And we'll say, okay, this is the guy. We're good. He has grown every year on the job. He's getting better. Stick with him. It's not like I'm anti-Joe Mazzulla. I just don't believe that's going to happen. I think he is who he is. And I think we're going to get through this season, and we're going to be like, this team won 30 games in a putrid East and couldn't make the playoffs? You got to get rid of this guy. You got to get rid of him.
They're winning 30 games. More than that, excuse me. 30 wins, that's the Raptors, which are one of the worst rosters in the NBA, and a team that's lost. they're going to win more than 40 games because that's a Bulls.
More than 40?
That's the Chicago Bulls. That's the Atlanta Hawks who sold at the trade deadline. They gave DeAndre Hunter, traded him within the conference to the Cavs. That's what 40 wins is.
If you say 50 wins, dog, I'm walking on.
No.
How many? So you're like 45?
That's a 6 seed.
East, yeah,
that's what
like
the Detroit Pistons just pulled off. But think about how much worse the East got. The Cavs are going to run it back. The Knicks with the new head coach, we'll see, but they got better. They got a deeper bench. They got
Orlando's
scoring, and they got depth. Orlando got better. Indiana fell off.
Yeah.
What will the Bucks be? It's still Giannis and Miles Turner.
Sure.
What will the Pistons be?
Right.
Can they run it back? The Heat haven't made any progress. The Hawks got better. They're in that 5 to 6 range.
Yeah.
That's 45 wins. And maybe with the East getting more top-heavy, having more parity in it, maybe 45 wins is a 7, and that's a play-in. That's fine. You know who got the 7 in the play-in? The Orlando Magic.
That's right.
And look how serious of a team they were.
Well,
to
they
the
underachieved. Well, slow down on that. They underachieved.
Well, they underachieved.
They had expectations.
Mo
to be
Wagner
better.
injured. Jalen Suggs injured. They've dealt with their injuries. Paolo Banchero was out for a substantial amount of time, too. And they just got to 41 wins. But that's what it's going to look like for this team. And I say the same thing now. We talk about who they have. Who they have right now will not be the same team they have post-trade deadline. It won't be. Because they still have till the trade deadline to get contracts off the books.
Yeah, but George, you say that, but
Anthony Simons can play his way out of Boston in a good way.
There's a flip side to that coin, bro.
And that's losing games.
Yes. You could get to the trade deadline and be so damn bad that they say, we're going to move off of Derek White. Or we're going to move off of Jaylen Brown and get returns and think about life when Jason Tatum comes back. Like, there's a flip side to that coin. You're right. They could look better post-trade deadline, but they could also look worse.
Does Joe Mazzulla get a pass this season, yes or no?
No. No. This is pro sports. I don't believe in a pass. Like, what are we talking about? We just talked about a coach with the Knicks. They went the farthest they've gone since the 90s. Dog, the last time the Knicks were in the conference finals, OJ was in a Bronco running from the police. He got him back there in 2025, and they fired him.
You know what it comes down to, though? It's not it's not the run the Celtics make it on. It's the NBA. As long as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown still want Joe Mazzulla as their head coach after this season, he's staying. That's what it comes down to. 30 wins.
I don't know.
50 wins. Play in tournament.
I don't know.
Get the 3 seed. Doesn't matter. It's up to them. If they're on board with Joe and they still listen to him and respond to his coaching, he still has to get better.
If the bottom falls out, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, if the bottom falls out, because that would be a reflection on the best players on the team, and that would be them giving up on Joe Mazzulla.
Jaylen Brown. That would be what I alluded to. He checked out.
Yes.
But if that's the case, then trade him.
And I don't think Jaylen Brown.
Fire Joe. I want everybody gone.
Here's the thing, man. I'm not trading a top 20 wing.
This is why you're GM George.
Yes.
Because I would have everybody.
You're literally the owner.
I'm Al Davis. I'm old school.
Yes. You're David Tepper.
Right.
Get him out.
Get out.
Burn them all.
Everybody
Guy from Game of Thrones.
Every year I'd have a new GM, a new head coach, and a new quarterback. I don't give a damn.
And somehow I would keep my job, but I'd be dealing with your stress. No, if Jaylen Brown and Jason Statham, if
he could help too. Can you kick a three-pointer in for us? Can you be the transporter for us? Can you drive the team bus?
As long as the superstars want to play for the head coach stays. Simple as that.
I don't know.
The Pistons ate a first year into a deal. They fired their head coach with $60 million remaining.
Yeah, they paid him.
As long as the players listen to the coach, that's what it's always going to be. Look what happened. I keep comparing it. You could be the Boston Celtics or you could be the Phoenix Suns.
Right.
They're the Boston Celtics for a reason.
You're right.
And there is that buy-in from the superstars, that is that belief in the head coach. I do think this season is a pass because of the injuries, because of what Jaylen Brown's coming off, too, a partially torn meniscus. It's about business this season. It's not about basketball. The season after, that's when they get back to basketball.
Hypothetically speaking, if I'm right and they win 30 games and Mazzulla is exposed and it just doesn't, it's not working, you still think he's safe because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown like him?
Yeah.
If they win 30 games?
Yeah.
Man,
that's what the league is.
Hell no.
That's what the league is. Man. Then you know, if it's your point, if it's a Sam Cassell that gets elevated, if it's bringing in a Mike Malone from the outside.
Or whoever, insert big name here.
Ime Udoka didn't just end up in Boston. It was a relationship he had with the players.
They loved him.
Kevin Durant just doesn't end up in Houston. It's a relationship he has with the Ime Udoka.
Sure.
That's how it goes.
Relationships.
That's what it is with all of these players. Mike Brown didn't just end up in New York. He checks out with the players, and they want to play for him.
And it's a terrible hire.
No, remember what he was doing with the Sacramento Kings?
He's a bad hire.
That was before they traded a Tyrese Halliburton, too, by the way, that he was doing that. Go 2 years ago with the Kings. That was before they traded away a De'Aaron Fox. Now, he wasn't the head coach then.
I think he can coach, but I don't think it's an upgrade from what they have. But to your point, the players did not respond to the other coach, to your point.
And there was no adjustments made by Tibbs either. He didn't go deeper into his bench. He shrunk it, and you can't do that in the NBA. Look at who just won, how deep the Thunder team was.
Right.
We'll take another break here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. When we're back, we'll get to the voicemails, the voice of the fans. Like I said, flex those Boston accents. If you want to leave us a voicemail, 617-790-0928. Leave us a voicemail. Make sure you can always catch the chat every Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 a.m. on NESN, 9 to 10 a.m. on NESN Nation, and catch every episode on YouTube as well. That's Boston Has Entered the Chat. Wherever you get your podcast, wherever you like to watch your content. But every morning, 8 to 9 a.m. on NESN, 9 to 10 a.m. on NESN Nation. We'll be right back with the voice of the fans. Voicemails from you guys after this break. Welcome back to Boston Has Entered the Chat. George Balecki, Travis Thomas. We'll get to my favorite segment we do on the show. Voice of the fans. You know we have the voicemail line.
That's right.
617-790-0928. 617-790-0928. Leave us a voicemail. You can tweet at us using the hashtag NESNChat too, or leave us an email, thechat@nesn.com. Let's get to the first one. Here's our guy, Patrick from Winooski. All the way up in Vermont. Woo. Check out our boy, Pat.
Hey, this is Patrick from Winooski, Vermont. I just want to talk about how precarious a situation we are in right now with these young guys. We need to win, not only so we win, but so we're not forced to be in a position where we have to start selling some of these guys off. Like, we don't just want to win because we want to win. We've got to keep this team a team that can keep Wilyer Abreu and Marcelo Mayer and Roman Anthony. If it gets bad enough, there's no reason. We've got to start getting rid of those guys. So this is like, winning is not just about this season. It is about keeping ourselves the sort of team that, all right, we can keep those guys around. We don't need to get rid of them. You know, everybody, I think, can envision a sort of debacle of a season where it's like, we got to get rid of Abreu. We're screwed here. So I just wanted to point that out because these guys, like you said, are young. They've got a couple years to figure things out, but we've still got to win enough in that time period to keep those guys around. My worst nightmare is just a couple tanks of a season, and we've got to just have a fire sale and get rid of all those guys because there's something so special shaping up here. So that's it. Enjoy and watch and see you guys later. Sorry I swore. I hope you can bleep that out or something. Bye.
Patrick, don't worry about the swearing. Our awesome producer, Ethan, bleeped it out.
And we swear all the time, just not on TV.
If you want to leave us an email, thechat@nesn.com, put plenty of swear words in there. So I get everything he's mapping out. At this moment, though, right now, Sox are 2 games above 500, 2 games back of the final wild card spot, 3 games back of the New York Yankees for second in the AL East as well. That shows how pivotal it is, what they do in the stretch leading up to the All-Star break and outside of it. Because they can continue to showcase to the front office why to buy. And I understand what he says of bringing up guys that could be traded if they're not doing well, if they're not in the wild card picture. But Marcelo Mayer, Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, Carlos Narvaez, Wilyer Abreu,
they ain't going nowhere.
They're not going anywhere.
Hell no.
Wilyer Abreu is under club control until 2030.
Right.
That's 5 more years until he becomes a free agent.
Right.
Rafaela has that long extension. Roman Anthony literally doesn't have a season under his belt, and he's only 21. Cello, KC, all those guys. Carlos Narvaez has been such a gem that they've found. The ones that I do watch for, though, Masataka Yoshida. He will be playing against the Rockies. That's a DH. That's someone that is from the previous regime. That was a Chaim Bloom signing, not a Craig Breslow signing.
That's right.
That is someone I believe they activate off the IL, get him playing now, get him swinging his bat to showcase leading up to the deadline for a team that needs a 285 hitter, a 800 OPS guy, a solid contact hitter in their lineup.
What do I call them?
What do you
mercenary bats. I always call them mercenary bats. They're always available at the deadline.
With the steep price tag, though. But then there's Jarren Duran. That, to me, if Roman Anthony continues to emerge, if Willie Abreu continues to be Willie Abreu, and Ceddanne Rafaela works out too, what does Roman Anthony become? Is he your DH? Then you keep Jarren Duran in left. Okay, do you want him playing left, which he came up through in the Woo Sox system? Then that means Jarren Duran's the odd man out in this. And that's someone the Padres have continued to openly share. It comes out through reports, their interest. It's not the Red Sox shopping him. It's teams continue to inquire about him.
They're flirting.
Good defensive outfielder, five-tool player, and someone, again, that's under club control. Those are the guys that I would see moved. It's not the young guys. It's a Masataka Yoshida. It's a Jarren Duran. Here's one more name.
Who?
It's Aroldis Chapman. He's an all-star. He's had such a bounce-back year. It's a one-year deal with the Red Sox. That's the type of guy. If the Red Sox aren't in contention, aren't solid, a wild card team, playing good baseball, and this is why the players have to prove it to the front office. If they trade Aroldis Chapman, that changes the whole complexity of this team. He's a high-leverage closer. When he gets in the game, you know it's a done deal, but he's on a one-year deal.
It's an all-star.
That is a rental that teams that think they're a player away, a closer away would acquire. But for the Red Sox, if they're in that wild card spot, they wouldn't trade him because they know how important he is.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, brother, right out of the gate of the all-star game, you go to Wrigley, you go to Philly, and then the Dodgers come here. So you're going to know what this team is closer to the deadline, to your point. I want to go to a bigger picture kind of topic that Patrick touched on, where he's kind of looking at things like now or later. And I think you can have both. In other words, I think these young guys can help you win now. They are helping you win now. If you get a wild card this year, great, right? You're in the postseason in a wide open American League. We talk about the National League being top heavy. The American League, there's more parity, okay? So if the Sox can get in, why the hell not? And by the way, we've seen in past years now, since this playoff format has changed, you're better off being a wild card, quite frankly, than winning your division.
Yeah, you don't want that bye.
Hell yeah.
More teams got in and ruined it, but to me, it's more of that bye than the top three teams get.
So think about that. So listen, the last few years around here have been average, okay? So if you get into the postseason with this young team, with the youth movement, great. We know the future's bright. We know the Red Sox are going to be fine in the future. I don't necessarily think you can't have both. I think you can win now and have the future secured.
All right, let's get to the next voicemail. Here's our guy, John from Dennis, out on the Cape. We love our guy, John from Dennis. Here he is right here.
Good morning. It's John out in Dennis over on the Cape. Calling in because yesterday I happened to come across an article talking about the Patriots' playoff chances next year. Said something about a 12% chance at best. I don't think the Patriots are going to be the best team in the league next year, but 12% sounds a little low to me. Let me know what you guys think. Love the show as always. Keep doing what you're doing.
12%?
Hey, man, damn this. Hold up. Time out.
You go.
Hey, John, man. Can I come hang out with you at the beach house? You hear how relaxed John is? I ain't been that relaxed in my whole life. I want to know what that feels like. You think he's drinking Mai Tais?
100%.
Is it pina coladas?
100%.
Is he drinking spritzels?
You know why that he keeps calling in from Dennis? It's someone that's a caper. Like he's on there all summer.
Clearly.
Goes over that bridge once to get on the Cape, goes off it a second time just to get off at the end of the season.
John, man.
And that's it. He doesn't got no traffic. He's got a beach, staring at a body of water.
Oh,
Best thing you can do.
John, brother, this is a traveling road show. We'll come do a live show. You love the show.
Hey.
We'll come to the crib, dog.
Hey.
Just have us out there, man. We'll do a live show from the crib.
After the show, pack your Tommy Bahama. We'll hop in my car. We're driving down to the Cape, and then tomorrow morning we'll wake up, do the chat from John from Dennis's living room.
Chasing summer, brother. Chasing summer.
They won 4 games the last 2 seasons each.
Right.
12% to make the postseason. When you saw the Bengals, the Dolphins just miss the playoffs with that quarterback play. The Broncos sneak in with 10 wins.
Preach.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, a 10-win team, get Aaron Rodgers.
Preach.
Chargers, Texans, Ravens, Bills, all upgraded the rosters, and the Chiefs too.
Amen.
I think they make the playoffs. I think it's because their schedule's super easy. I think it's all the upgrades. But with the Raiders getting better, the Jaguars getting better, 12% chance you would take that if you're a Patriots fan. They haven't made the playoffs since Mac Jones' rookie year.
I don't think they make the playoffs. I think they're going to win 8 or 9 games, and if they win 9 games, the AFC's so damn good you may not get in anyway. So we'll be proud of this Patriots team. I don't think they're ready for primetime yet, unless Unless they make a couple moves here or there. Terry McLaurin's available, a Trey Hendrickson, a TJ Watt. Then we can have a conversation. But as it stands right now, I don't think they make the playoffs. And I don't think 12% is disrespectful. They won 4 games the last 2 years.
You and I are opposite. I think 10 wins. I think they get to the playoffs.
10 wins, you get in.
But I get it what you're saying with the 9. Yeah, I'm not going that hot takey there. All right, here's our guy. Here's another voicemail. Our guy, John. Check it out.
Yes, hello. I'm watching your show every night on 38. But you don't talk about women's sports, especially like the Boston Legacy, the Boston PWHL team. You need to speak more about women's sports. That's my only complaint. Your show is pretty good. Thank you.
Boston Legacy talking about the women's soccer team, of course, Boston fleeing the PWHL. Hey, John, we do talk women's sports on the show.
Yes,
but
we
also
do.
check out Respect Her Game wherever you get your podcasts. And also just check out Boston's End of the Chat. And along with Hockey Hub, you want more PWHL talk too.
Yeah, like we like that you watch us here, but Nesson does a ton of content to George's point. So, hey, expand your mind, baby. We cover every base here at Nesson. We appreciate the love.
Here's our next one, Fred from Connecticut. Here's Fred from Connecticut.
Hey, this is Fred from Connecticut. Question would be, what about Trevor Story and moving him? And what could you get for Jaron Duran and him on separate trades? You move Meyer to shortstop, and you go from there. You have to get rid of Duran simply because of the backlog. Thank you.
That's an interesting name where Trevor Story, he had his really, really down month of May, but he's been on the up since then.
Yeah, he has.
Trevor Story also playing shortstop, which we know is Marcelo Meyer's position. Because again, when Alex Bregman comes back, okay, what does this infield construction look like?
Sure.
But we see Marcelo Meyer taking reps at second. He has played there before in the minor leagues.
He looked good at third, too. I know Bregman. I'm not saying anything, but damn, Meyer looked good at third.
No, he looks amazing at the hot corner. I don't think Trevor Story gets moved because, again, if you move a Duran, you can't move a Story. You could move a Duran and still be buyers because that can get you something you need, right?
Yeah.
They still need a relief pitcher. They still need arms all throughout the rotation and bullpen. A Duran can get that. I think Trevor Story, with his contract, the return wouldn't be there. And there needs to be an adult in the room. Alex Bregman would be one of those. I think Trevor Story would be the other. His bat has come a long way. He's a vet. I think with his contract that's tougher to move, I don't think Trevor Story goes anywhere.
I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I'm looking at the schedule, and we brought this up earlier. At Cubs, at Phillies, Dodgers here at Fenway. When the last time you play the Dodgers is Sunday, July 27th, okay? That's the last game against the Dodgers. The trade deadline's at the end of the month. I think by that time, you're just going to know. You're going to know what they're going to do, buyers or sellers, right? And so at that point, if you are sellers, meaning you come out of the second half from the All-Star break and you're a mess against these top teams in the NL, okay? And you're out of contention and you're like, this is over. I don't think anyone's name is that far-fetched to be on the trade market. I really don't. I don't care who you say. Maybe outside of Crochet, but honestly, all these names, outside of the young kids, of course, with Meyer and Anthony. But I just think if this team's out of contention for a wild card, I think none of us can be shocked if big names are moved. None of us. Now, I happen to think they're going to come out in the second half of this season after the All-Star break and make a playoff push. Yeah. So that's a different conversation to have. But if they're out of it, George, I wouldn't be shocked if any of these names. None of them would shock me if they got moved.
And to answer his question, what would the return be for, say, Jaron Duran? Padres want him. They have Leo DeVries. Number 3 overall prospect in baseball, top-ranked shortstop, just 18, some years away. You bring him up, then you keep a Trevor Story. That allows DeVries to mature and marinate. And then eventually it's him and Marcelo Meyer in that middle infield.
There you go.
Here's the next one. We got our guy, Theodore. Calling in. Here's Theodore.
I'm calling in to tell you that I've listened to your show when I really don't call in often, but the two of you really are very ignorant men and don't know what the hell you're talking about. Drake May is not that good. He cannot win, and he's not a winner, okay? So please do me a favor. Maybe you should look for a job selling tires, okay? Thank you very much. Good day.
Theo, I love you, man. You call someone ignorant because we're saying how good Drake May can be.
Bro.
And you say Drake May can't win. Not may not win, not won't win. You say can't win.
I'm crying.
And you have the audacity to call us ignorant. My man, go watch ball.
I'm crying,
Go
bro.
touch grass. Go check your tires on your car, too. If you need a new
pair, you're ignorant.
You let me know. I'll check the mileage on you. I'll do the quarter test.
I'm not above changing tires, dog. I'd be happy changing tires. I mean, what's wrong with that? That's an honest living.
He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Valecki. This is Boston Has Entered the Chat. We'll change some tires in the break. We'll be right back after this with what's trending around sports. Stay tuned right there.
You need a...
We're back on Boston Has Entered the Chat. As we always like to do, get into what's trending. What you guys are talking about in your group chats, bring it on to the show.
Come on.
Let's start with this. A little snag in the trade between the Celtics and the Trailblazers.
Oh, Lord.
Sending Anthony Simons to Boston, Drew Holiday to Portland, of course. There was a reveal in the medical evaluation of Drew Holiday. See here from Aaron J. Fentress. The Trailblazers trade with the Boston Celtics has been reduced to a straight player swap without the previously reported 2 second-round picks going to the Celtics, league source told him. According to a source, a recent review of Holiday's medicals revealed nothing substantial enough to warrant the trade being negated. However, there was enough there to lead to the Blazers to slightly alter the terms of the deal. Holiday is considered to be healthy and will be working out this summer in preparation for the start of training camp near the end of September. So Drew Holiday is healthy enough to play, just not as healthy as the Trailblazers were hoping to be. I assume this is the mallet finger. Here's from Boston Jays. Wait, so you're telling me if I buy a used car and find out something was wrong with it, I could renegotiate the price I bought it for after driving it off the lot?
Bruh.
I don't think so, Boston Jays.
Bruh.
Wish life was that good. From Brooklyn Kid. Can Celtics slightly alter trade and not send them Drew? Oh, wait, also you spelt Drew wrong, so that negates that tweet there. Let's get there. This doesn't surprise me a ton. Maybe it's mallet finger. Maybe it's something else. I mean, he was dealing with other issues throughout the season. He's 35. He's a defensive first guard, played a lot of basketball. Trailblazers got finessed in this trade. Still doesn't make sense. They retained 2 second-round picks, fine. You know, Drew's going to play basketball. I think that's the important thing. And the trade still went through because Drew Holiday's with Portland.
I'm trying to figure out a way to be respectful about this, and I just can't do it.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna just keep it real. I feel bad for Drew Holiday.
Okay.
Everybody won who got moved from this team, from the Celtics. Everyone. Cornette goes, he gets a bag from the Spurs. I saw that deal. I was like, yeah, I get it. Celtics, I wouldn't have paid him either. But he goes to the Spurs. He gets Wemby and the rest of them. And he got a bag of money. Good for him. Porzingis goes to the Hawks, which the Hawks right now in the East, with Ice Tray, Porzingis, and the rest of the pieces they have, they could be a real player in the Eastern Conference. So Porzingis wins. We're hearing reports that Al Horford's gonna go to the Warriors. Steph Curry, anyone? I mean, Al Horford potentially could win there. And then Drew Holiday goes to basketball hell? Like, come on, man. I feel bad for him, and he's not healthy, clearly. He got the rawest of the raw deals out of all these guys who went to greener pastures from what the Celtics will be this season. Is greener pastures, except Drew Holiday. He deserves better, George.
He was healthy enough to be playing in the playoffs. He will be healthy enough to play with Portland. You know why I don't feel bad for him?
Why? Money.
$32.4 million.
I get it, bro. But everybody's
at 35 years old.
Everybody's
32.4.
He was paid before he got to Boston.
Exactly.
He wants to win.
And he got paid by Boston, and he won.
I know.
Gold medals, multiple NBA championships. He has a Hall of Fame resume with all his all
with
defensives.
The Bucks.
Exactly.
He ain't winning where he's at now.
He's fine. He would not be playing basketball if he wasn't getting paid this handsomely, I think.
I know. I get it.
At
George,
his age, he's been playing in the NBA since he was 19. He's about to enter year 17 in the league. He's okay, Trav. He's okay. $32.4 million. Be back on the West Coast where he's from. He's all right. We'll see if he even sticks there.
He deserves it.
We'll see if he even sticks there. Hey, Roman Anthony, if you missed it last night, hit his first home run at Fenway Park as a Red Sox player. 9-3 win over the Rockies. Sox, 2 games above 500. Hear from Roman Anthony right now. Here is him after his first career home run at Fenway Park.
Roman, congrats on a terrific night. Let's talk about the home run. Your first at Fenway Park. How sweet did that feel coming off the bat?
Yeah, it felt great. You know, it's just great to get that first one at Fenway out of the way. But no, it was awesome. Just a great team win.
Roman, you've really hit lefties well down in the minor leagues, and this year it's, you know, Cora showing that confidence, right? Playing you out there each and every day, and whether it's a lefty or a righty these days, you're hitting them. So you must be feeling really comfortable right now off them as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, credit to AC for, you know, just trotting me out there every day and finding a way to get me in that lineup, you know, lefty, righty, whatever it may be. I think, you know, we're just swinging it well. It's contagious right now. I thought we've been swinging it well for a long time, and it's nice to kind of see everything fall through here. But no, we've been game planning really well, and everything's just it's going great right now. We got to just keep it rolling.
I would just like to say that man looks like a ball player.
Well, I tell you
Headset
what,
on,
you're
post
right.
home run.
Even his answers. Bro.
Open up a little.
Let
loose.
I think that is him.
No.
By the way, I do.
No,
I'm going to tell you
that's
something.
a different Roman than that was in Worcester with the Woo Sox and Portland with the Sea Dogs. You get to Boston, you're in the bigger city, you get some vets talking to you, hey, you keep it about the main thing, keep it about the team, you don't say much, because him and Marcelo Meyer, a little tight in the interviews, I just want a little more.
I don't think
personality
so. I kind of think this is who they are, and in fact, I'm impressed with it. These are the oldest youngsters I've ever seen in my damn life.
19.
The maturity
21,
from both of these
21.
guys, from Roman and Marcelo.
Yeah.
They're both so mature, bro. It's creepy to me. I'm like, where's the youthful exuberance? Where's the, I was fired up. No, these guys are, I'm telling you, they old youngsters. They are young, but they are veteran in the way they carry themselves. I'm impressed by it, and I think these two are going to have the city in the palm of their hands for the next decade plus, brother. I really do.
I would like to point out Roman Anthony, his last 10 games, 386 batting average, 994 OPS. In 44 at-bats, just 11 strikeouts, 5 extra base hits, 6 RBI, and as you saw, he had his first home run at Fenway Park last night. I remember people calling in, leaving a voicemail, 617-790-0928, telling us we're wrong for wanting to keep Roman up, letting him mature, get more at-bats at the major league level. I just like to say, eat my shorts. That's it. That's all I want to say.
Eat my shorts.
Because that's what it is. You let these guys get these at-bats, and he's been absolutely raking against lefties, too. He's hitting number 3 in their lineup. He's 21 years old, and he's now hitting number 3 in a major league lineup without a solid number 2 in front of him. Like, this is him, and this is what he could be. Now, I'm not going to overreact over a 10-game stretch because it's baseball. It's 162 games, and he's just 21. He should play a long time. But I'm also not going to overreact to his first 40, 50 career at-bats and say he should get sent down. So quick, just PSA, eat my shorts.
Hey,
EMS.
By the way, just hot take real quick. I was thinking about this. Pasta missed the playoffs. Tatum's hurt. Jaylen Brown and Garrett Crochet, I would say, are reluctant superstars. I mean, bro, the future of Boston sports superstars. Roman Anthony, Marcelo, Higgins, Drake May. Like, we got some youngsters here, bro, who can ascend and become real superstars in town. I'm excited to see it.
I think they'll just continue to do that, especially Cello and Roman. The aura.
The aura.
Kids say the aura. Let's end with this. Talking some tennis. Grigor Dimitrov had to retire, leading 2 sets to love.
What happened?
Over the number 1 ranked player in the world, and Jannik Sinner. Up 2 sets, about to win. Tore his pectoral. He's 34 years old. Fell down on his back, grabbed his chest, left, came back, said he could not continue. 5th straight Grand Slam he had to retire from. For Grigor Dimitrov.
Bro.
That's a tough break, man.
It does show you how tough athletes are, though. I saw a dude, just a regular meathead guy in the gym, tear his pec once.
Yeah.
They had to call an ambulance. Like, he was debilitated.
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of him. I've never torn my pec, so I'm not making light of this.
Yeah.
But these athletes, like, he tore his pec, went to the back, came back, and was like, I can't. I'm tried. I can't play. Or how about the late, great Kobe when he tore his Achilles? Remember? He gets up, goes to the free throw line, makes his free throws, walks off on his own. Like, it's amazing how tough these athletes are, bro. It's amazing to me. It's a shame what happened to him, though.
And it was also the respect from Jannik Sinner that jumped out to me, too. I mean, he said after the match, I don't take this as a win at all.
Yeah.
You see it right there, him posting a photo with him. Get well soon, my friend. Wishing you all the best, Grigor Dimitrov. I mean, and it's also, this happens against the number 1 player in the world. You want to fight through it. You want to push through it. He just couldn't. And you also just don't happen to tear your pec. You're battling through something for it to lead to that, whether it's a strained pectoral, something wrong with the shoulder, what have you.
Yeah.
He just straight up tore his pec. And he took the time, to your point, went down, got up under his own power, left, probably tried to collect himself, see if he could play. And
walk it off, right? We always say walk it off. That didn't work.
He did. And really up 2 sets to love. Up 2 sets, wins 1 more set, and he advances over the number 1 in the world and had to retire.
That's a shame. But you can, look, rebuild yourself, come back stronger. Mentally, you had this guy, and you know it. So you have to now rebuild physically and come back and pick up where you left off. It's the only thing you can do.
Tennis, a young man's game, where Dimitrov's 34 years old. That's a tough part of this, too. You work for something, you get close. And the 5 straight Grand Slams he's had to retire from, I mean, it's been on every surface, every country pretty much you could think of.
He's got a
U.S.
history.
Open, French Open, retiring. skilled, battles through it, give credit to him. It's one of those, there's always those athletes where they could have been great, but their body hated them.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's where I feel where like the Mitrov falls under. And it's like a tongue-in-cheek comment, but it's a soft tissue injuries. It's injuries like this where it's like his body just doesn't respond the way he wants it to, and that's a tough part. But credit to him, the perseverance to continue to keep showing up Grand Slam after
Was there a guy in sports that you remember thinking, like, damn, if they had just stayed healthy? I always go to Derrick Rose.
Grant Hill, Brandon Roy.
That's a good one.
Derrick Rose, definitely.
Derrick
with his
Rose is the
knees.
GOAT to me.
That was something with his athleticism.
Yes.
He was out jumping himself with Grant Hill. It was his ankles. Penny Hardaway, too.
Penny Hardaway's another one. Good call.
It's those type of athletes that we always see, you know?
Yeah.
And as great as he was, Adrian Peterson always injured. I mean, going back to his days at Oklahoma, that's someone that always played banged up. I would have liked to seen him a little more healthy. But he still had a great career.
Well, football and hockey, I think, are different kind of cultures, too, where guys play so hurt all the time. Even the late, great Steve McNair, I remember, was a walking MRI.
Yeah.
But he played every week. Brett Favre, very similar. So I think it's the different cultures in sports as well. And in tennis, I know it's not physicality in terms of someone tackling you.
It's hard.
But you have to have everything in working order for you to actually play tennis. If you tear your pec, it's not going to work out.
Look, you know me, avid pickleball player.
Yeah.
Tennis, I cannot play tennis. I don't have the cardiac ability for it. I don't have the breathing, the lungs, nor the skill set. That is such a difficult sport. We'll take another break here on Boston is Head of the Chat. When we're back, we'll get into talking Patriots and where their wide receiver room ranks in the NFL.
Oh.
It's not last, but it's not pretty either. Find out after the break on the chat. Welcome back to the Salem 5 studios here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. George Blechy, Travis Thomas. Travis, let's talk some Patriots now.
Let's do it.
So, friend of the program, Trevor Sikkema of PFF, wrote an article ranking the wide receiver rooms of all 32 NFL teams.
Okay.
Quick guess. Not putting you on the spot.
Dead last.
No such thing as a wrong answer.
Dead last.
Nope.
What?
Wrong.
What?
31st.
Oh, well, close.
That's where the Patriots wide receiver
Who the hell's
ranks.
worse than them?
Cleveland Browns.
Well, they should be last in everything ever, always.
Ownership, quarterback, culture.
Remember when we were
winning.
kids and we would play like two-hand touch football and there was an all-time quarterback? The Browns should just be the all-time last in everything. Like start every list, right? Okay,
32.
we'll start here. We know the Browns are last. Boom, and then you go.
Except Edge. Let me throw some respect.
Myles Garrett.
And quarterback.
But, okay, here's where I lost respect for him. Can't take away from him the football player.
Oh, it's all about winning. I want to win.
Yeah,
And then
I
he
didn't
got
like
the bag.
that. I didn't like that. That's corny. That's corny.
Yeah.
Everyone has a
bag.
price, I guess, but that's corny. You can't be like, oh, I've had this great career. I need to win now. Oh, all the money in the world? I'll stay. I love Cleveland. Come on, bro.
You know me, I'm critical of Cleveland. I'm critical of anything not on the East Coast. You give me that money, I'm living in Cleveland happily.
Yeah, that money stretches farther in Cleveland.
And then I'd be
right?
on the Cape in the summertime, only because I can take a helicopter there and not have to drive.
Facts.
All right, so Patriots rank 31st.
Yeah.
You have no issue with that, except for that they should be 32nd.
They should be last.
Why?
Because they suck. What do you mean, why? The best receiver that they signed this offseason, they gave too much money to, hey, come in, be a leader, be our number one, was on a damn love boat, partying, having the time of his life. What kind of leadership is that? He's coming off a major injury. He's older. There's drama every 3-2-1, probably right now as we speak with his girlfriend. Ain't nobody got time for that. And the wide receiver room still sinks with them. I don't understand how they're not last. But I know this. I know what can help. You can go out and make a move for Terry McLaurin. He's in D.C.
That'll
chilling.
bump you up.
He's not getting paid. They're miles apart on a contract extension. Boy, doesn't Terry McLaurin and Stephon Diggs sound much better than Stephon Diggs and whatever the hell else we're trotting out here.
Look, I don't see it with the Tennessee Titans. Like, Calvin Ridley's okay, but they're going to be expecting a lot from, like, what, Chimere Dike, a washed-up Tyler Lockett?
What are you talking about the
Gunnar
Titans
Helm?
for?
Because the Titans are right in front of them. I don't think this New England Patriots wide receiver room is 31st in the NFL. I don't think it's second worst in the league. You give me that look of...
The Patriots wide receiver. So you're arguing the Patriots should be higher on the list?
Yes. The Pittsburgh Steelers have DK Metcalf and who else? Roman Wilson, that's it?
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Browns right now. This list is terrible. They got Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, that's it. And what, Cedric Tillman? What the Patriots have with Kyle Williams is a guy that will make an instant impact. Just watch. Just watch.
Someone who's never played before.
And he caters to Drake May's strengths.
He hasn't played a down.
That's what puts the Titans ahead. That's why you're betting on teams like the Carolina Panthers that continue to draft at the position. Teams like the New York Jets, teams like the Las Vegas Raiders that are ahead of them because they get redundant with their receivers.
George, yes or no?
It's Kyle Wilson down the seams. It's Stephon Diggs underneath in the slot. And it is guys like a Mac Hollins, the only time I'll mention him in a receiving room, that makes an impact in the red zone. With a quarterback like Drake May, he elevates it. They are not the 31st ranked wide receiver room in the league. They are not.
George, yes or no, please? Is Jerry Jeudy better than Stephon Diggs right now?
Yes.
In 2025, the year of our football lord
It's
Drake
the
May.
depth of
No,
the room.
just yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Is Calvin Ridley right now in 2025, the year of our football lord Drake May, better than Stephon Diggs, yes or no?
He was stuck with Will Levis.
Yes or no?
I like Cam Ward. I'll give him a yes.
Okay.
Okay.
The Patriots should be last on this list.
You're going top heavy on this. It's wide receiver room, and having depth at receiver does matter. Because Calvin Ridley alone, Jerry Jeudy alone, can they break defenses? Can they win games? They're not Justin Jefferson. They're not Jamar Chase. They're not Malik Neighbors. They're not one-man shows. They're not a Devontae Adams at one point when he was in Green Bay, but now him in L.A. with Puka Nacua, that's scary. This is a deep receiving room with complementary pieces. It's a lot of slots, but Kyle Williams can be that downfield receiver. And that opens up for Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper not to be bracketed and taken out of the playbook. This is a good receiving room for what they're getting.
I need a drink.
I'm not saying, okay, it's not 31st. When I say good, good is average, top 15. This is not the worst wide receiver room in the NFL.
The hell it ain't.
And that's been the state of the Patriots, though, because that leads to a bigger discussion. When you look at what the past drafts have been and what the free agency approach has been, too, trying to throw the bag at a Calvin Ridley, and he says, no, I'm good. I'm going to go to a Tennessee.
They tried to get DK?
Trying to go to DK Metcalf. But you know what? I don't think they wanted him, really, because they could have offered a better draft pick and more money.
Yeah.
Trying to lure other guys here to New England. And whether they're not seriously in it, like Brandon Ayuk, using them as a pawn so you could get paid by the 49ers. They gone after the guys. They couldn't land them. So that's a new reality for the Patriots. They have to draft and develop. It's the only way they'll get a wide receiver here.
Yeah.
And in reality, too, we saw with the T. Higgins pursuit. I knew he was never going to hit free agency. When he got tagged,
you did call that.
It never was reality to want him.
Yeah.
When receivers are that good, if you're a wide receiver 1 or 2, you are not hitting the open market unless you way outplay what your price tag is going to be. But it's a team like the Vikings have a Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, drafted. A team like the Bengals have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, drafted. That's what it becomes. You have to be a destination. You have to be a contender. You have to have a Super Bowl pedigree quarterback like the Rams if you want to get guys from the outside, or you have to draft and develop like we see on teams on this list.
Look, you make a really great point here. It's the only thing I can agree with you on this whole damn segment is you can only take what the draft gives you, and the Patriots are going to have to rebuild this weaponry for Drake May through
It's going to take time.
Now, I will say this as it pertains to time. Two things, really. Number one, Bill Belichick ain't walking through that door. He's gone.
Which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing.
When it comes to the draft.
Yeah, so now you can exercise the demons of wide receiver drafts past, okay? Number two, I would say is, we see this with quarterbacks. You can only, I repeat, you can only take what the draft gives you, meaning quarterbacks now and wide receivers are more pro-ready than they've ever been. That's why you see less draft bust at both positions. So if you're the Patriots, you play the numbers. Hey, we're going to draft a wide receiver every damn year until we figure this out, right? Or two. And eventually you will hit. Eventually these guys will come into the league because now they're better equipped. The NFL runs more college-type systems, quite frankly. Tom Brady was complaining about this, remember? And everyone gave him a hard time. Well, he's right. Football has been dumbed down. It is a lot more college concepts in the pros now. So because of that, I think as you draft receivers over time, they get acclimated quicker, they blossom quicker, they develop quicker than they ever have, and eventually you will hit on 2 or 3 of them. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know about Kyle Williams. I know you're putting all the eggs in that basket, and I get it, you have to, because what the hell else are you going to do?
Yeah.
But I know this, I can't give them better than last based on someone who hasn't played a down in the NFL. I can't do it. But eventually, you will get it right at wide receiver by drafting. I just don't believe outside of Kyle Williams, who I'm only giving you for the sake of this conversation, but the rest of these young dudes they have on the roster at wide receiver, that ain't it. Javon Baker, Polk, That ain't it.
They're not going to
okay?
be on the
That
team.
ain't it. I'm sorry.
I go back to this. When you look at drafting, the Vikings, 2020 Justin Jefferson, 2023 Jordan Addison.
Woo.
With the Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown in 2021, Jameson Williams the next year, then Sam Laporta the year after. They don't have to be a wide receiver to be a pass catcher.
Sure.
We know that now with the NFL.
Playmakers.
With the Rams, it was Cooper Kupp in 2017, Puka Nacua 6 years later, Jordan Winnington in the 6th round in 2024. The Bengals, this is the class of it all. In 2020, it was T. Higgins in the 2nd round, same draft as Joe Burrow. 2021, Jamar Chase. 2023, Andre Yosibach, who could be that slot, the guy that replaces Tyler Boyd. He still needs to get better. But then they go out and added Jermaine Burton. And then the Seahawks, 2015, Tyler Lockett. 2019, DK Metcalf. 2023, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Because they drafted right. And over a certain stretch of time, eventually they had that 3-headed monster. They were able to trade a DK. They were able to let a Tyler Lockett walk, and they weren't having to sweat it. They added a Cooper Kupp, but JSN's now that main piece. And the Buccaneers, it's Mike Evans. 3 years later, it's Chris Godwin. It's Emeka Egbuka in this past draft. It's throwing darts, seeing what sticks,
sure.
But it is continuing to pour draft assets. To your point, we see more guys, not just first rounders, throughout this draft be pro ready.
Yes.
That's an approach the Patriots are going with.
I'm going to tell you, if I'm the Patriots, I'm just drafting LSU wide receivers. I don't give a damn. You went to LSU? Come on down. We need you. LSU blesses us with wide receivers. I ain't never been to LSU. They ain't sending me no check. This ain't an endorsement, but I know their wide receivers can play. If I'm the Patriots, I'm in that front office. Who went to LSU on this draft board? You showing me him? Okay, that's who we want.
You know where I'm about to go with this one. For the Texans in 2021, Nico Collins.
Yeah.
2 years later, Tank Dell.
Yeah.
And what do they do in this past draft? They got my two guys, Jaden Higgins
right.
and Jalen
Both
Noel
of your dudes.
out of Iowa State.
They'll be studs.
Yes. And they're building around C.J. Stroud, and they're always going to have wide receivers under cost control. The Green Bay Packers, Christian Watson bust, but Tontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed work. They just drafted Matthew Golden, who's a really good downfield receiver to help Jordan Love.
That's right.
Savion Williams they added. He doesn't have it between the ears, but Matt LaFleur can scheme him touchdowns. That's how you build around your quarterback.
Yeah.
Ooh, you guys got me talking draft talk.
You got to love it.
You done did it.
You
woke
done
up the
did.
beast.
GM George is awake.
It's Tuesday, but I'm down to go to church, baby. I don't got to wait till Sunday. Hey, he's Travis Thomas and George Bilecki. This is Boston Has Entered the Chat. This wraps it up on Nesson. We'll be on Nesson Nation. And you know, every Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 a.m. on Nesson, 9 to 10 a.m. Nesson Nation. And catch every episode on our YouTube as well. We'll see you guys there. Have a good one, everyone.